Thank you. Those who are able, please rise for the singing of the national anthem by the multi-talented Liz Taylor.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Liz. Please be seated. Good afternoon. I am Amy Wildermuth, the Dean of the University of Pittsburgh School of Law. It is my great honor and privilege to welcome all of you, our commencement speaker and class of 1999 graduate Craig Dietz, Judge Marilyn Horan, Javette Washington, Nathan Urban, members of the Board of Trustees, members of the Board of Visitors, members of our alum board, our faculty and staff colleagues, and most importantly, the members of the class of 2019 and your friends and family to today's commencement ceremony. It is a great honor for all of us to be here today as part of this very special celebration for you and your families. And look at how much you have learned. You once thought that finding a $20 bill on the ground was easy money, but not so fast. Is it lost property, mislaid property, abandoned property? And if you can't figure it out, do you still pick it up? You also know the difference between all kinds of things, like subject matter jurisdiction and personal jurisdiction, substantive due process and procedural due process, recklessness and negligence, and the fruit of the poisonous tree and a tree with poisonous fruit, which we must never, ever eat. Really never. You have a finely tuned multi-factor test for deciding what to watch on Netflix, which your family is still sure means that everyone is watching whatever you pick. You were right, Justice Scalia. Those tests really do mean that the decision maker gets to do whatever they want. You are prepared with just 3 points, briefly, at all times, and your family doesn't understand why they need a roadmap of every discussion, especially when they have only asked you to pass the potatoes. And there's that notorious RBG, who is, just in case you haven't seen any of the many movies on her to date, none other than the 86-year-old, 5-foot, 1-inch weightlifting Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. But who are you, class of 2019? You arrived with impressive educational achievements. You have earned both undergraduate and graduate degrees from more than 90 universities and colleges from all over the United States and the world. You have 48 different undergraduate majors among you from virtually every discipline, from the arts to the humanities to the sciences, many with honors. 62% of you are from Pennsylvania. The other 38% represent 19 different states from the farthest corners of the US, as well as several countries. You hosted the University of Puerto Rico students after Hurricane Maria devastated the island, and several of those students stayed here and are graduating today. You've contributed to society through professions and work before and during your study of the law in an amazing array of fields, including the fact that there are 7 former members of the military representing the Army, the Marines, the Navy, and the Air Force. And you are winners. Jared Quinn received the American Bankruptcy Institute Medal and Certificate of Excellence for his outstanding performance in his bankruptcy coursework. Danny Hickton represented Pitt Law at the Rice Business Plan competition, and his team was the first Pitt team ever to make it to the semifinal round of 15. Aaron Belfield made it to the semifinal round and won the award for runner-up best brief in the Cardozo BMI moot court competition. Liz Taylor, who just sang the national anthem, was on the 2018 Pitt Law Vis Moot team, which scored 14th out of nearly 380 teams. Hannah Bega was part of the team that competed and won the triathlon champion at the 10th annual Hugh L. Carey Center for Dispute Resolution at St. John's School of Law and the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority. Elena Barco has been awarded a nationally competitive fellowship to establish an advocacy program providing specialized legal support to children whose parents struggle with opioid addiction and are involved in juvenile court dependency cases. And our upstart Pitt Law softball team not only won the 2018 ACBA championship, but they, and I quote, shook things up in 2018. I could go on and on, but let's leave it at this. We at Pitt Law strike fear into the heart of our competitors. You are a special group. In your law school journey, you no doubt have experienced your own ups and downs. You lived through the construction project that never seemed to end. You alternatively froze and sweat, often within the same hour, and were certain that it would be better to simply have class outside because can someone, please anyone, fix the temperature in the building? You saw more mice than expected for a law building because you had expected to see 0. You had to tell the undergrads that no, really, this is reserved for law students, and yes, we know you're an undergrad because there is no chemistry or math in law school. And you will miss it more than you imagined. You will miss the free food. Come and get it somewhere, anywhere in the building, so long as it is Chipotle or Panera or maybe even pizza. But please let it be Chipotle. You will miss hanging out in Allie's office with all the free candy and the baked goods. It is warm and safe and fun and loving. It felt like home. And she would like you to know you are all still welcome. It will just be a longer walk. And you will miss Derek Luke's endless pursuit of the most perfect everything, be it a formula for ensuring bar passage for all Pitt Law students or making beer in your kitchen. He is one talented individual. I had the great privilege to clerk for Justice John Paul Stevens, and I learned many important things from him. Today, I want to share with you just one of those things, the one that is the most important of all, which does not involve any commentary on the Second Amendment, Citizens United, or even Chevron, I promise. There was never a time when Justice Stevens assumed bad intentions in the face of something going wrong. And trust me, plenty went wrong. Justices, for example, might flip their vote in a case, which you only learn after the new majority has been put together. Or a carefully assigned opinion that was intended as a majority opinion, when circulated, cannot be joined by a majority. And for you, dear law students, that means the dreaded plurality opinion. Which one is the law again? Something about the narrowest grounds? I give up. In today's world, with so much made about the deep divide and polarization between us, it seems that we are quicker to judge, quicker to assume that something was done out of spite or with bad intentions, when in fact, it could simply be the result of inadvertence or incompetence, or even, particularly in my case, forgetfulness. So I challenge all of you, before you get angry about something, before you assume that someone has it in for you or has done something just to spite you, step back and see if you can see the world differently. Start from a place of generosity and kindness, a place where you can see the best in people until proven otherwise, and talk face to face, human being to human being, when you have differences. Justice Stevens was a remarkable model for this at 82 when I worked for him, and even now at 99. And you will need this approach, there is no doubt, as you enter into this profession. People don't come to lawyers in good times. People generally do not need a lawyer because things are going well for them. You will see difficult, awful things because people come to us when they are in trouble. They are scared, they are often overwhelmed and traumatized, and they need help. Your job is to be just and fair, and to listen. Listen actively and carefully. Listen more than you talk, and provide wise counsel. And when the system is unfair, it doesn't work, it is failing, we expect you to do something. And not just anything, we expect that you will do justice, just as you have learned to do over these past 3 years. To acquire the skills and knowledge the pursuit of justice requires, you have spent countless hours, often missing important family and personal events. You have been lucky to have had on this journey the great guidance and help from the very talented law faculty and law staff who are here with us today. Let's thank them together. In addition, you, the class of 2019, came to us with other important traits in hand that will serve to ensure your success in your new profession. Your many gifts were nurtured with the love and support of the important people in your life. We never forget where we came from. Let's stand up and thank your friends and family for all they have done to support you in this endeavor. Stand up. All right, please be seated. I'm now going to ask my good friend, Vice Dean Haider Hamoudi, to come forward and introduce our next set of speakers.
Thank you, Dean Wildermuth. As the Dean indicated, I'm the Vice Dean of the law school. I'm going to guess a lot of you who are not students are wondering, Vice Dean, what the hell is that? Don't worry, my 6-year-old son asked the same question, but then we watched Batman together and he said, Baba, I figured it out. You're Miss Amy's butler. So for the avoidance of doubt, I'm Alfred, the younger and better looking for the avoidance of doubt, and she's Batman. I now have the pleasure of introducing the president of the class of 2019, Clarissa Sarmiento. Clarissa graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology from the University of Santo Tomas in Manila, Philippines, where she served as president of the Sociological Society and was the recipient of the Pope Leo XIII Community Development Award. At Pitt Law, Clarissa is a co-founder of the American Association of Justices Pittsburgh chapter, the social chair of Outlaw, a member of the mock trial team, managing editor of the Journal of Technology, Law, and Policy, and class president. She's the recipient of the Derek A. Bell Scholarship in Law and Social Justice. So obviously, Clarissa has been very busy. She served as the 2018-19 representative on the American Bar Association Diversity Committee Law Student Division. The first ever committee established by the ABA is composed of 8 law students from different law schools in the United States. Please join me in welcoming such an accomplished student of ours, someone who's been so active in our community, has made our law school a great place, and someone with a really bright future. Ahead of her, Clarissa Caneja Sarmiento.
Thank you, Dean Hammoudi. Good afternoon, distinguished faculty, families, friends, and fellow graduates. I'm sure most of us, if not all, have awaited this day since we came to law school 3 years ago. It feels like graduation has come in a blink of an eye, although somehow not fast enough. Looking back to our first day of orientation, many of us have wondered what the next 3 years would be like. And many of us may have been worried that we wouldn't survive law school. But we all made it. We are here celebrating this accomplishment that at first seemed unimaginable, especially after we took our first law school final exam. From our late nights at Barco, writing our outlines and case briefing, to those times at HEMS, trying to forget about our exams, we managed to survive. We all persevered despite many of us, including myself, at one point or another, having had doubts about our ability to do so. But law school wouldn't be bearable without the people who have supported us since day one. Let us recognize and thank all those people in our lives who have made these dreams come true. Our parents, families, friends, and significant others have been there with us every step of the way. They went through the sacrifices in this journey, just as we did. And so to my friends and family in the crowd, I personally thank you for always being there for me, from introducing me to the American culture, to helping me get through my first winter in the United States. You have made it easy for me to come to Pittsburgh from the Philippines and succeed at law school. To my parents, I know it was not easy for you to let me come to America to fulfill my law school dreams. And yet, you supported me in my decision and stood behind me throughout. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for allowing me to pursue these goals and ambition. To all faculty and staff, thank you for all the knowledge and skill you have imparted to us. You have taught us not only what the law is, but how to truly use the law, not only in our profession, but in making our society. You have had a significant positive impact on our lives and have given us the ability to move forward and become truly capable of succeeding in our professional careers. And lastly, to my fellow graduates, let us look back at our time here at Pitt Law and recognize that we not only grew individually, but collectively. As we leave law school, let us not forget the lessons we learned and the trials we have overcome to get here today. I am both hopeful and confident that we will remain a community and support one another throughout our careers. Congratulations to us, class of 2019, and hail to Pitt.
Thank you, Clarissa. It's now my pleasure to introduce you to the president of the Student Bar Association at PItt Law, Allison Landis. Allison has many talents, among which she has a large face poster back there somewhere. So there it is, right there. Allison earned her degree in English writing nonfiction with minors in political science and legal studies and a gender, sexuality, and women's studies certificate from the University of Pittsburgh. At PItt Law, she was involved in PItt Law Women's Association, sitting on the executive board during her 2L year, and with the Student Bar Association, first as the 2L class president and then as the SBA president in her 3L year. Allison served as a PItt Law ambassador throughout all 3 years of law school. Allison served as an intern at a local startup tech company, Legal Sifter, where she eventually accepted a full-time position throughout her 2L and 3L years. Following her employment with Legal Sifter, Allison worked in PItt Law's elder law clinic with a focus on legal issues affecting older adults. Let me say from a personal note, one thing that really makes Allison stand out is that she's a tireless advocate for students as the SBA president. In fact, I'm kind of scared whenever I see her around because I'm pretty sure she's going to follow to my office and harangue me until I give the students something that they want. So anything you guys have is probably due to Allison in one way or another. Please join me in welcoming Allison, who's really contributed so much, as I said, to our PItt Law community. And who makes PItt Law the special place that it is.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Dean Moody, for the kind and pretty accurate introduction. To the class of 2019, we're finally here. Congratulations. I want to thank you all for allowing me to serve as president of the Student Bar Association this last year. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing the winner of the 2019 Robert T. Harper Excellence in Teaching Award. Each year, the graduating class selects a person who goes above and beyond as their role as a professor. This award goes to someone that has not only embodied the role of a teacher, but also a mentor to the class. Today, I am honored to announce this year's award goes to William Carter, Jr. I have had the pleasure of having Professor Carter in class this last semester. His dedication to teaching and ensuring his students succeed in passing the bar and excelling in our careers sets him apart. We knew him first as dean and now a beloved professor, and Professor Carter has truly impacted the class of 2019 in innumerable ways. My first interaction with Professor Carter was 2 years ago when he was dean. I was a lowly 1L pacing the first floor of Barco, worrying excessively about my impending oral argument. As I paced, contemplating if I even belonged in law school, someone stopped in to check in on me. Professor Carter was on his way home, yet he took the time to stop and lift up a nervous 1L who he didn't even know. He looked at me and reminded me that preparation is key, that we all find our niche, offering some words of support that have stuck with me to this day. Professor Carter is more than a professor. He is a mentor, and he is a role model. He does more than teach us the practice of law, he inspires us to become better humans. For these reasons and many more, I am thrilled to award Professor Carter the 2019 Robert T. Harper Excellence in Teaching Award. Professor Carter, on behalf of the graduating class, I want you to know how much you mean to us, how much you've taught us, and mostly, how much you have and continue to inspire us.
Good afternoon, everyone. Allison, thank you so much for those kind words. My thanks to the graduating class for this award. It really is meaningful, although I'm a little surprised, having been in my class for a whole semester, that you didn't revoke it after having to deal with me for 14 weeks in a row. But it really is a pleasure and privilege to receive this honor and to have a few minutes to speak with you on this special day. I will follow the golden rule for all of the warm-up speakers at graduation events: be brief, be funny, and be gone. I will do all three as quickly as I can. First, let me thank again our graduates for selecting me for this teaching award. It's always a high honor to be recognized for your efforts, but it's a particular honor to be so recognized among all of my many dedicated and excellent faculty colleagues. Just like all of you, I've learned a great deal from them and have been inspired by them as you have. It's also a particular honor to be recognized by students. In my view, teaching is far less of a sage on the stage content delivery model, but rather is an endeavor where the professor and the students are partners in the learning endeavor. So to the extent then that this award reflects your judgment that I've done a good job as a teacher, it's certainly not something that I've done alone, but something that we all have done together. And so this award belongs as much to you all as it does to me. This is also a special honor for another reason. Interestingly, the first thing I remember ever wanting to be as a kid was a teacher. That's not true, actually. I wanted to be an astronaut because I had astronaut bed sheets, but someone told me that wasn't sufficient to become an astronaut. So the second thing that I remember wanting to be was a teacher. There were so many teachers who were influential to me all the way up through law school and indeed even to the present day. I know that, when you look at us in front of the classroom, it looks like we have everything together and we've always been destined to become lawyers and law professors. That certainly was not true in my case. I was raised by a single mother in a pretty underprivileged environment, and it was only because of the efforts of my teachers along the way that I managed to end up where I got to. And so teaching is particularly special and indeed sacred to me. I also think that there's a particular honor in being a law professor. You all place your trust in us as your faculty to help you master the skills and the knowledge that you will use as a member of the legal profession in service of others. And you'll use that knowledge and skills not just on behalf of your individual clients, but also in advancing the rule of law and our constitutional values. To be clear, I believe from my study of history that the law has often fallen short. The law often does not deliver perfect justice. Indeed, the law has often been corrupted all the way from our founding compromise with slavery to the present day. But the law has achieved magnificent victories in advancing civil rights and human rights. And the rule of law is what you will be a part of. The concepts of respect for substantive rights that are immunized from the tyranny of the majority, the constitutional checks and balances and separation of powers that constrain our branches of government, the procedural protections that ensure that that government must treat the rich and poor, the despised and the favored alike, the insistence that lawful decisions are characterized by lawfully exercised power, were all hard-won components of the rule of law. And lawyers have played and continue to play an essential element in securing them. But they're not inevitable, nor are they immutable. To paraphrase President Obama, paraphrasing Dr. King, the moral arc of the universe may well ultimately bend toward justice, but it does not bend by itself. It takes the dedicated and continuously reaffirmed commitment and efforts of every member of our society, and most especially lawyers. So I call on you, as the newest members of our profession, to reaffirm your commitment to our constitutional principles, because I sincerely believe that our Constitution and the rule of law are being tested today as they have never been in my lifetime. Those tests are coming from many directions, and it will fall in large part to all of you to stand as the bulwark against their further erosion. Some of you will do that in large and very visible ways as legislators, judges, and policymakers. Most of us, will do so in smaller ways, seeking justice on behalf of our individual clients. But all of us, I believe, have a duty to stand for and maintain the rule of law, and to be clear about what the Constitution demands, and to share with our fellow citizens what the law requires. Again, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak with you one last time. I look forward to seeing your many successes and staying in touch with you, and I do hope that you will also keep in touch with all of us. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dean Carter, for those very moving and important words. And congratulations to you as well. It's particularly fitting that the students awarded Professor Carter the teaching award because he served as dean for the first 2 years of their law school careers. And I also had the privilege and honor of being, when he was Batman, I was his butler as well. And so very often I'm asked, having served so closely with both Dean Wildermuth and Dean Carter, and you speak so highly of both of them, but really, seriously, which one's the better dean? And the answer is actually really obvious and really easy to answer. So with that, I'll conclude. Thank you very much. Congratulations, class of 2019.
Thank you, Butler Hammoudi. I now have the honor of introducing today's distinguished speaker, Craig Dietz. All of us have challenges to face during our lives, and Craig has faced what many would consider insurmountable challenges. Craig just calls it life and moves on. Despite being born without limbs, Craig has always been determined to live life to the fullest. In his spare time, Craig can be found bowling, skiing, playing volleyball, hunting, fishing, jamming on his drums, or tooling around the country in his van. Craig's biggest passion is swimming. He has completed open water swims across the U.S. and in South Africa, ranging in distance from 1 to 6.2 miles. What is special for us today is that we know Craig from his time as a Pitt Law student. He was where all of you are today, a mere 20 years ago, graduating from law school. After graduation, Craig worked for 10 years as an attorney for the cities of Pittsburgh and Harrisburg. Craig says that being a lawyer was the career he chose, but being a professional speaker was the career that chose him. For the last 9 years, Craig has been inspiring audiences all across the United States and the world. We invited him here today to share his story of perseverance and dealing with the obstacles that life presents without losing your joy in the process. Please join me in welcoming from the class of 1999, Craig Dietz.
Dean Wildermuth, Dean Amy, distinguished faculty, alumni, friends, proud parents, siblings, and spouses, and the graduating class of the University of Pittsburgh School of Law. It is an honor for me to be here with you today. 20 years ago, I was sitting right down where you all are sitting today. Maybe not exactly, because I bring my own chair, but I was down there on the end of an aisle, beaming with pride, as you all should be, for having survived what was definitely the 3 most intense years of my life. Congratulations, class of 2019. Graduating from Pitt Law School was and still is one of the most proudest moments of my life. It was also one of the cruelest jokes that anybody's ever played on me. My graduation was on a Sunday afternoon at the end of May, so I had exactly 12 hours to celebrate before I had to be in Squirrel Hill on Monday morning for my bar review course. It's nice that they've moved it back a few weeks for you guys, and they make it on Friday night, so my advice is that you all take the weekend off. Celebrate this amazing experience with your friends and your family, and then show up on Monday ready to start your job for the next 2 months, and that's studying for the bar exam. When I graduated from law school, the bar exam was incredibly intimidating to me, the prospect of taking the bar exam. I don't know whether you guys have heard this or not, but the bar exam is kind of an intense experience. It would be intimidating to most anybody, but for me, I think it might have been just a little bit worse because I was legitimately concerned about being able to physically sustain the exam because of the way that I write. How I write is I hold the pen or pencil between my shoulder and my chin, kind of like so, and I bend over the table and hold the paper in place with my shoulder, and then move the pen with my shoulder and my chin. So as you can imagine, being torqued up in that position for hours on end, I get quite fatigued, I get cramped, my eyes get very buggy from being too close to the paper. So I was really freaked out by the concept of taking, I was really freaked out by the prospect of 8 hours of multiple choice questions. During my law school years, I was given extra time on my exams to help deal with the fatigue and the cramping. And I probably could have petitioned the bar examiners for a similar type of accommodation. But as I started to think about it, I wasn't really sure that extending it over more than 8 hours a day or extending it over more than 2 days, how much I was really going to benefit me. And I really loved the idea of sitting for the exam in the same room as my classmates that I had studied and suffered with over the last 3 years. So I decided to give it a shot. I took 2 months where I did nothing but study for the bar. I spent hours on end practicing my writing and working up my stamina, and I took the bar exam with no special. I was fortunate enough to pass my first time and move on with my life. But I swear I didn't come here today, though, just to scare the crap out of all of you about the bar exam. And some of you aren't even taking the bar exam anyway. And to those people, I have just one word. But it probably wouldn't be appropriate for me to use that word here, so I'm just going to move on to why I'm really here today. I want to talk to you about a concept that I talk a lot about that I like to call defining your own potential. Now, it's my belief that all of us in the room, we all have the ability to define our own potential in this world, especially you guys sitting in the center aisle here. But what exactly I mean by that is very often in our lives, we find ourselves in situations where we basically have 2 choices as to how we can react, how we can respond. We can either allow the circumstances that we find ourselves in to control and define us, or we can try to take control of those circumstances. My advice to all of you is to challenge yourselves every day. Every day, challenge yourselves to find some way to take control of your circumstances. Don't be controlled by them. Live your life. Don't let your life live you. And for the love of God, never let anybody tell you what you can or cannot do. People often approach me and they'll tell me how amazed they are by all that I am able to do. And although I appreciate the sentiment, it's a little bit lost on me because I have never defined myself as a person with a disability. I've faced challenges in my life, yeah, but I'm fairly certain that everybody faces challenges in their lives, whether they be physical, emotional, or mental challenges. And I'm also fairly certain that there are times in each of our lives when the challenges that we face can feel like they are overwhelming, just too much. Even Mother Teresa once said, "I know God won't give me anything more than I can handle. I just wish He didn't trust me so much." The challenges that I face may be a little more obvious than most, but I would never presume to say that they're any more difficult than what anybody else may be dealing with in their lives. My main objective in life has always been simple, and that is to not allow the challenges that I face define who I am as a person. It's really only been the last 10 years or so when I've been doing my motivational talks that I've been able to put this philosophy into words. But it's definitely a philosophy that I've lived out my entire life. When I was in high school, I battled the principal head on because he was convinced that I was unable to handle high school without the assistance of student aides. But I knew that I could. When it came time for me to go to college, I chose to go to Duquesne University instead of Edinburgh University, even though at that time, Edinburgh was known as being the best and pretty much the only school in the state of Pennsylvania that was fully equipped to handle students with disabilities. And I also just told you about my bar exam decision, but I also carried this philosophy into the practice of law. One of my defining moments as an attorney came when I was doing personal injury defense for the city of Pittsburgh. In one of my cases, the plaintiff's injury was that she had broken her number 2 toe and cut her toe. Your number 2 toe, just in case you're curious, is the toe right beside your big toe. And as part of her injury, the cuts, they had gotten infected, and she ended up having to have the tip of her number 2 toe amputated. Now, the portion of toe that she had amputated was about the size of your toenail, about the portion of your toenail. So we're talking about a 1/4 inch of toe or so. So before we go to trial, I have the opportunity to take this woman's deposition, and I find myself sitting across the table from her, asking her this question. Ma'am, can you please describe for me how your life has been dramatically affected by the loss of the tip of your toe? It was in moments like that I began to realize that I was pretty much born to do personal injury litigation, personal injury defense. And I was good at it, and I loved doing it. But the litigation, it wasn't my only passion in life. I've always been a firm believer that in leading a full life and pursuing interests aside from my career and aside from my studies. And one of my biggest interests I've always had has been swimming. I've always been an avid swimmer ever since I was a little kid. And the way I swim is I use a scuba fin. I put a scuba fin on my right leg stub, and I swim on my back, and I basically do an inverted dolphin kick with my lower body using the fin to push me through the water. In 2008, I decided to try open water endurance swimming. So I did the Pittsburgh Triathlon on a relay team with 2 of my buddies. And the local news media got wind of my effort, and they came and they did a 5-minute blurb on the 5 o'clock news about my swimming and about the Pittsburgh Triathlon. But that blurb went viral online, and people started calling me and contacting me and asking me if I would be interested in coming and speaking to their groups. Now, I truly never aspired to be a motivational speaker. When I first got those calls, my response was the same as when Dean Amy called me to do this speech. What the heck am I going to say? But I'll try anything in life once. So I went and I did a few motivational talks, and I found that I actually did have something to say. I enjoyed doing it. I loved doing it. And I truly was humbled and surprised by the power that my story had with people. So in 2010, I got married, and I moved from Pittsburgh to Harrisburg to be with my wife. And she was gracious enough at that time to tell me to allow me not to look for a legal job right away when I moved back to Harrisburg, and let me see what I could do with the motivational speaking business. And it's been over 9 years now, and I've never looked back on it. My speaking and my swimming has given me opportunities to meet some really remarkable people and to travel anywhere from New England to New York City to LA to South Africa. And none of it would have ever happened if I hadn't just been committed to defining my own potential and just living my life to the fullest. The last few years, some people have started asking me if I regret going to law school since I'm not currently practicing law. And unless they ask me on the day that my student loan checks are due, I always answer them with a resounding hell no. It was my 3 years here. My 3 years here provided me with the skills and the perseverance and the determination to succeed in anything I decided to do in life, not just being an attorney. Some of you all are going to go on to great successes as attorneys. Some of you are not. But I have every confidence that with the education and the training that you've all received over the last 3 years, you will all go on to great success no matter what you decide to do in your lives. I'm going to end today by telling you about the only swim that I've done that I wasn't able to finish. It was the Great Chesapeake Bay Swim in 2011. This is a 4.5-mile swim across the Chesapeake Bay. You swim between the 2 bridge spans of the Bay Bridge. It was the longest swim that I had ever done up to that point in my life, and it kicked my butt. And not just the 4 miles, not just the distance. The bay is really not a very friendly swimming environment. There's big choppy waves to deal with, and the current was so strong in a couple points that I had to actually turn my body to a 45-degree angle with the southern bridge span just to keep swimming in a straight line and not be swept off course. But I swam as strong as I could for 3 hours, and I still had about a mile to go. I was in danger of not making the time cutoff to finish, and that's when the storm clouds rolled in. And I was informed by 2 gentlemen on a jet ski that they had to pull me out of the water because there had been lightning in the area. Finishing that swim in a boat that day was one of the most deflating feelings I've ever had in my life. But now when I look back on it, that is probably the swim that I am still the most proud of, because I faced some really challenging conditions, but I didn't give up. And the lessons that I learned from that swim laid the foundation for all the longer swims that I would go on to finish in the future after that. My point here is simply this: don't ever be afraid to fail in life. I know that's a little bit of a cliche, but what would a commencement speech be without one good cliche, right? And cliches become cliche for a reason. So seriously, never ever be afraid to fail in your lives. If it makes you feel any better, be like me and don't call them failures, call them learning experiences. I truly believe that there are no failures in our lives if we are able to learn something from that experience and to apply that lesson moving forward in our lives. So to all you graduates today, I wish you all spectacular learning experiences and that they lay the foundation for even more spectacular successes in your lives. Congratulations, class of 2019.
Thank you, Craig. We are very fortunate to have you with us today, and we thank you for sharing your inspiring story. As an expression of our appreciation, and as a nod to the person who first brought you to our attention, Law Library Director Mark Silverman, we are very pleased today to dedicate a study table in the library to you. This will be signified by a plaque with the following inscription, subject to your edits. To remind us of the passion, resiliency, and determination it takes to be a Pitt Law student, this table will henceforth be known as the Craig Dietz Table, Class of 1999. Define your own potential.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much.
We've made it. We will now proceed to the commencement of the class of 2019. As the graduates step forward, I know many of you in the audience will want to take photographs. We will also be taking pictures of every graduate for you. If you would like to come up front, please stay behind the first row of audience chairs so everyone can get the pictures they want and the ceremony can proceed smoothly. Today, we will be presenting a degree of Doctor of Juridical Sciences to the 7th graduate of our doctoral program for foreign scholars. And we will graduate our 24th class of Master of Law candidates, lawyers from other countries who have engaged in an intense year of graduate study in the American legal system. Professor Ronald Brand will read the name of first of our SJD graduate, and then the names of our 14 Master of Law graduates. Professor Alan Meisel, the director of our Master of Studies in Law degree program, will read the names of the Master of Studies in Law candidates. The MSL degree program is for those interested in studying the law to acquire new skills and knowledge and to enhance their advanced careers in professions outside of the practice of law. Vice Dean for Academic Affairs, Haider Hamoudi, and Associate Dean of Students, Kevin Deasy, will read the names of the Juris Doctorate candidates. All of the graduates will proceed across the stage to be congratulated and to receive a certificate of membership in the law school's Alumni Association. Before we turn the proceedings over to Professor Brand and Professor Meisel, I'm going to ask Nathan Urban, Vice Provost for Graduate Studies and Strategic Initiatives at the university, as a representative of the university, to provide the official presentation of the SJD, LLM, and MSL degrees. Nathan.
Thank you, Amy, and congratulations to all of today's graduates. So will the SJD, LLM, and MSL candidates please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me as a representative of the Provost and the Chancellor of the University of Pittsburgh, and on the recommendation of the faculty of the university and the university's Board of Trustees, I present to you the degree of Master of Laws, Master of Studies in Law, and Doctor of Juridical Science, which entitles you to all the rights, privileges, and honors thereto appertaining.
You may be seated. I now ask Professors Brand and Meisel to begin reading the degree candidate names.
It is my distinct honor and privilege to present the 2019 recipient of the Doctor of Juridical Science, Odeh Talal Mahmood. It is also my honor and privilege to present the members of the Master of Laws class of 2019. Amr Jamal Fahmi Abu Sham. Pascal Per Kloppenberg. Andres Demans. Emmanuel Edreich. Aliyah Jinyak. Samira Gomez Ribeiro. Nadine Hafaita. Hala Mirati. Dmitro Omalchik. Dafina Osmani. Anton Greco. Alice Sahel Azagari. Haisa Borges Suarez. Jonas Volk. The 2019 class of Master of Laws.
Good afternoon. I have the honor and privilege to present the candidates for the degree of Master of Studies in Law. Krista Collins. Raymond Davis. Kayla Krushka.
Congratulations. We are now ready to begin the JD candidate presentation. I ask Javette Washington, Senior Vice Chancellor and General Counsel, as a representative of the university, to provide the official presentation of the JD degrees. Javette.
Thank you, Dean Amy. Will the JD candidates please rise? By the authority vested in me as a representative of the Provost and the Chancellor of the University of Pittsburgh, and on the recommendation of the faculty of the university and the university's Board of Trustees, I present to you the degree of Juris Doctorate, which entitles you to all the rights, privileges, and honors thereto appertaining. Congratulations.
Okay, you may be seated. I now ask Dean Deasy to begin reading the JD candidate names.
Paige T. Alderson. Caitlin Alexandra Andrews. Cole A. Antelock. Patrick D. Anzavino. David C. Babb. Henna Baga. Elena C. Bartko. Erin Kathleen Belfield. Lucy Ann Bergender. Autumn Jolene Callan. Renee Lynn Cavalier. Christiana Chmielewski. Cheryl E. Choice. Aaron Scott Christensen. Jonathan R. Churchin. Audrey R. Sillo. Robert B. Cimino. Zachary Robert Koblenz. Benjamin Eric Cohen. Scott J. Connor. Brittany Marie Cooper. Anthony W. Cosgrove. Allison M. Crabtree. Kelly B. Collin. Benjamin J. Dauber. Joshua M. Davis. Andrew C. DeGore. Ian Donald Dempsey. Matthew B. Densford. Tyler J. DeVries. Adam Wilson Debo. Bianca Maria DiNardo. Lynn Ding. Luca DiPiero. Charlene T. Donfack. Maxwell R. Dormer. Molly Catherine Dunlop. Olivia J. Este. Michael Evans. Patrick C. Fapor. Lawrence Ferris. Javon Frank Mirage. Rachel Elizabeth Gerber. Kyle Ronald Gillinardo. Julia Marie Gittleman. Stephanie L. Greiner. Meghna B. Gupta. Ted A. Hages. Kenneth C. Hall. Danny Hickton. And presenting the diploma to Danny will be his father, Professor David Hickton of the law school faculty, and his mother, university trustee and chair of the law school board of visitors, Dawn Hickton. Morgan Virginia Hoover. Christopher Michael Hunchuk. Michael J. Hutter. Gabriel Isaacson. Jocelyn Meehan Jaquish.
Arman Singh Kang. Michael J. Colson. Kylene N. Cosmo. Michael Arthur Kuhn. Allison Landis. Lauren Catherine Levinson. Logan Lindsay Lewis. John Loeffler. Rachel Loiacano. Elizabeth M. Lohman. Derek T. Luke. Rebecca Martz. Tony McMasters Moran. Megan Rose Mendez. Khalifa A. Masawa. Kervin M. Moon. Kyle T. Murphy. Carmen J. Nocera. Sarah C. Norcott. Lindsay M. Offit. Dylan M. Opar. Nick D. Patel. Mary Hannah Paterni. Lars A. Peterson. Audra E. Phibbs. Taryn Janae Phillips. Jared Quinn. Got it. Connor Cease. Clarissa Caneja Sarmiento. Adam D. Shore. Congratulations. Wen Shu. Eric D. Slobe. Aaron N. Smith. Shauna K. Ashley Spencer. Wade M. Stevens. Aaron D. Stonecipher. Jennifer L. Suter. Clarissa L. Sullivan. Matthew C. Swenson. Christopher K. Takamoto Gentile. Jessica Tam. Elizabeth L. Taylor. William J. Tyson. Sarah J. Tobias. Akira Tomlinson. Priska Chibambe. Kareen Humphrey. Zachary M. Urim. Alex Ware. Anthony J. Werner. Megan Christine Willie. Benjamin T. Wilt. Sarah Helen Winters. Yi Zhu. Friends, parents, siblings, I give you the class of 2019.
Okay, class of 2019, stay up, stay up. Please move your purple tassel from right to left. As Dean of the University of Pittsburgh School of Law, let me be the first to offer my congratulations to all of you on your graduation. Please be seated. At this time, we are fortunate to have with us Judge Marilyn Horan, who was awarded the 2019 Distinguished Alumni Award. Judge Horan, can you please join us?
Oh, the smiles. Class of 2019, on behalf of the University of Pittsburgh School of Law Alumni Association, congratulations. And welcome to the class of PItt Law alumni. You are now in a class of thousands. Just as your classmates have provided you with guidance, encouragement, consolation over the past 3 years, your new class of PItt Law alums offer you far more for the rest of your life. Guidance, encouragement, experience, referrals, job opportunities, consolation, friendship, collegiality, social activities, and service opportunity. Take advantage of all. You will never regret it. So many benefits come from membership and keeping in touch. Pitt Alumni Association is going to keep you on top of what's happening at Pitt and what's happening in the field of law. Pitt Law Alumni Association is a valuable investment for your time and talent. Trust me. There will be times in your career, in your personal life, when you maybe wax and wane with your activity in the Pitt Law Alumni Association, but in the long run, it keeps you connected. It is the glue that keeps us all together. And I'll share with you a real recent example of what that means. Dean Amy did mention I did happen to receive an award the other night. And to my surprise, I noticed you were all called in alphabetical order. For the rest of your life, you will know who sat beside you on each side through your years of school. For me, it was Hill, Himmelreich, Horan, and Horgan, always burned in. And they were my friends and classmates. Well, please don't do the math and calculate any age, but that was 40 years ago that I was sitting right where you are. And the other night, Dean Amy shared with me that in the announcement of the award that went out to the alumni through Pitt and the Alumni Association, she received a letter from Himmelreich that explained that we lost contact 40 years ago. Sitting in this room was the last time I had contact with him, and the Alumni Association brought us back together. I plan to follow up with him. He's in another state, but I do plan to reconnect. And that's one of the benefits of association. And I can tell you from experience in my life, our paths have continued to cross. Other Pitt alumni, older than me and younger than me, have always reached out and across the aisle to help me along. So rely on one another and help one another. If you'll indulge me a few words of wisdom, that was my job of welcoming you. But I do want to share a few things. I've been around for a while, and while you celebrate your achievements today, and they are many, you're at the top of the mountain. But I also want you to recognize that there's a mountain range ahead of you. You're going to be climbing a lot of mountains in your times ahead. You're not done cooking yet, kids. You've got a lot to learn and a lot to develop. Example and experience are essential ingredients towards becoming an effective and successful attorney. Seek out good mentors, follow good example, strive for good experiences, ask for and listen for constructive feedback. Always remember, look back and help those that are coming behind you. Ladies and gentlemen, know yourself. Be yourself. Pay close attention to what it is about the law and what you are doing and your personal life as well that makes you happy, satisfied, and peaceful. Be true to yourself and what you value. Personally, spiritually, intellectually, emotionally, physically, ethically, professionally. Keep all of those in focus and keep them all in balance. Be mindful. If it doesn't feel right to you, don't do it. Take time to enjoy, relax, and refuel. Life is not all about the law. Sorry, professors. Life is all about life and living well in all aspects. Be balanced. And I'll share with you that I am a judge, but that's not who I am. It's what I do. There's a big difference. You need to know yourself. Live for yourself and your family. Today, your biggest asset is this law degree, but in time, your truly biggest asset is what you build from today forward, and that is your reputation. Every day, in every way, you are building that reputation. Be mindful of that and consider, how do you want others to reference you? Think about it. It's going to make a big difference. Over time, your reputation will become more significant and valuable to your life than the law degree you've earned today. It will open more of life's doors for you than your degree or your grades down the line. Keep track of what you do, keep your resume up to date, and be mindful. It all matters to you in fulfilling your life and keeping your personal and professional life in balance. Ladies and gentlemen, you are lawyers. That's what you do, but it's not who you are. Keep all of this in mind. Do your best every day, and you will be amazed where life will take you, and you will be amazing. Godspeed and good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge Horan. And thank you all for joining us in this celebration of achievement. I hope that you will now join us on the first floor of the Cathedral of Learning for reception in honor of the graduating class. Congratulations again, class of 2019. Thank you.